So talk a little bit about, I don't know, session music in your life. And maybe this project is mainly talking about how session music can be played all over the world. So you don't have to necessarily focus on Ireland itself, but just the joy of musicians getting together playing Irish music.
Well, I belong to an organization called Cultus, which is Comholtas, I think, Cultus. And it's an organization in Ireland that has set up branches since the 1950s, branches all around Ireland and England and Scotland and in something like 40 countries around the world. And what they do is find a contact in Ceylon or Sri Lanka or Laos or Vietnam or Japan or the US and say, how would you like to start a little branch of ours, and we'll help fund it because we have Irish government money, which is pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
And so there are all these branches around the world where people might not even speak English at all, but they've heard Irish music, and they'll say, "Oh, donka donka et bitta" or something.
Yes.
And I want to learn the fiddle to play Irish music. I like German music, but I like Irish better. And so these are sessions focusing on Irish music. That happens to be the tool for people learning to play an instrument and learning some dance steps too, all around the world. And then jumping ahead a bit, Michael Flatley came along with those amazing polished dance routines, and those things have been immensely popular. They have helped the spread of Irish music and Irish dancing. For instance, in the United States, there must be thousands of little girls aged 8 to 12, many fewer boys, and the girls have learned all the steps, advanced, retire, kick up, kick back.
Okay. So a lot of these dances are from this individual that you just mentioned, that they didn't really exist before he categorized it and formalized the dances?
Yeah, the sort of thing that he's doing. Now they call it shan nose dancing, old style dancing. But the people who teach shan nose dancing say, no, that's too polished for us. It's as polished as tap dancing, which is true, I think. And Flatley, I think, he used to teach. Well, he used to learn tap dancing when he was a kid, and so he's combined the two, I think.
Okay.
But a lot of people who are more traditional say that's not loose jointed dancing like shan nose is. In the old style, you just sort of bop around, and your feet and your knees do what your brain allows them to do. It's not polished and cut. You don't have to wear matching outfits.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of what happens a lot with ethnic music. It's packaged and used for various marketing purposes or for the government, purposes. So was he? Is this the type of dance that you would see in like Riverdance, the productions Riverdance? So very, very organized and choreographed and
if we're talking about what he did. Now Flatley is also a tremendous flute player.
Oh, okay.
He grew up in Chicago, and he learned from Joe Shannon and from McGreevy, who played the pipes and the fiddle, and he learned a lot of their tunes. Yeah. So he's a very accomplished flute player.
Okay. And
has been, since the 1970s anyway.
So are you saying the Flatley guy grew up? He's an American from Chicago.
With Irish-born parents.
Irish-born parents, okay. And he stylized and, made a lot of formal dance moves, or I don't know, what is the word for it?
Dance moves would work, I guess.
So are you saying like a lot of people in Ireland and around the world do those dances? So it kind of came back to Ireland, and they use, like, say if they had a girls' dance class in Ireland, would they use Flatley's dances?
Minimally, I would say.
Okay.
Most of the time, if you watch people doing dancing in Ireland, especially solo dancing, they won't look as cut and polished as the people in Riverdance.
Okay.
For instance, they'll actually jump up on if they know that a table in a pub is stable.
Yeah.
Whether it's a boy or a girl jumping up, they'll dance up on top of a table.
Okay.
Because everybody can see them. It's like a mini stage.
Right, right.
Or they'll take a broom, and there's a thing, I think it happens in England, it's called a broom dance, where you dance around a broom and over it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it gets pretty decorative and very tricky too. You can break your neck.
Okay.
You know, but I don't think the flat day folks would ever consider doing something like a brush or a broom dance, because it's not sophisticated enough, or it just doesn't fit in what they're doing.
Right, right. I see. I get what you're saying. Because a lot of the dances were in people's kitchens in Ireland. You know, like you probably wouldn't have room to have a lot of line choreography and stuff like that. Yeah,
push the sofa back, push the chairs back, or take them outside.
Yeah.
So we'll have more room.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. You know, kitchen dancing, and in fact, you know, it's either in Newfoundland or in Nova Scotia. People who play trad music there talk about a kitchen racket. That's exactly what they mean. That their tunes are what you would dance to in a kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Even if it's just 4 people dancing.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's where the beer is, in the kitchen. So that's why you do it there. Like I was thinking, why didn't they do it in the living room? Yeah. So where do we go next? So we were talking about. Go more with the organization you were talking about and how they spread it and throughout the world. Because I just gave an interview with Dave Reynolds. Dave Reynolds gave me an interview, and
good.
He talked a lot about
He's
that.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, he's great. And unfortunately, like most of the things I recorded, the mic cut off, so I'm gonna re-interview him. But I think
you could redo something with him.
Yeah,
he's very amenable.
Yeah, I like Dave a lot. So he kind of took part in the same organization. Yeah. I would say it, but I don't know how to say it. How do you say it?
Cultus.
Cultus.
Like a little horse. Colt. Us.
Okay, and it's got 2 more words with it, but most people just say cultus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you translate those 3 words, it just means the Musicians Association of Ireland.
Kind of generic.
It just has a lot of MHs and BHs and DHs.
So you think, what would you picture the world without cultus? Like, would you see sessions going on around the world as much, or do you think they made a major impact? A
major impact, and you know, cultus started in the 1950s. I think 1957, when a group of maybe a dozen women and men who were late middle age and older, who first, I forgot one individual, if there was one, got them all together, and they said, "Good God Almighty, there are no concertina players anymore, and there's only one piper in all of Ireland. And what are we going to do?" And the story goes, I don't know all the precise detail, but the story goes that they were saying, "All right, we got to do something. You know, otherwise jazz and rock and roll are going to take over our kids, whatever." And so they started going to their particular town and saying, "Hey, Molly, could you get your accordion out and teach a few kids, you know, your tunes, and we'll get some accordions for those kids, and it'll pay you £20." And she probably said, "Well, yeah, if you think I can." And so they would find an old fiddler or an old flute player, and they did it really in steps, you know, and they went from this town to this town to this town, so that at this point, I think cultus. I forget how. That was the beginning of cultus anyway, and they weren't calling themselves cultus at that point. They were calling themselves something like that, like Irish musicians, as a title. But that's sort of spread, and somebody would say, "Well, you know, I know this woman up in Antrim. She's my aunt. I'll get in touch with her. I think she plays some of those northern tunes." And it was like that, you know. There were, in the 1950s in Ireland, there were hardly even telephones. In some parts of Ireland, there was no electricity. Yeah. So in the beginning days, there was lots of sludging and love and hard work. Yeah. But it was very incremental.
So I didn't realize that it was more reactive. It was reacting to, hey, we don't have a lot of musicians anymore. People are not doing this as much. I thought it came more from, oh, let's promote this, even though it's strong, let's promote it even more. But it came from a place of, hey, this is kind of an emergency. We don't have many musicians left.
And in fact, if we don't knock your microphone off, This is the drawer, which means a treasury of stuff.
Yeah.
This is the big magazine that Cultus puts out 4 times a year.
Okay.
And one of the things that they do in every issue is to talk about older musicians who died.
Yeah.
And they talk about whether the current sessions are
Okay.
that they sponsor. And they talk about almost every issue, I would say, and it's been going out for 20 or 30 years, talks about just what you and I were precisely talking about, the beginning of Cultus. And if you pick up any magazine, it's going to tell you that same story about how they started.
Okay. Okay.
And an interesting thing about Shore, 2 interesting things. Some people say, well, they've got too much competition involved. They're teaching 6 and 8 and 10-year-old kids to compete for a prize, to compete.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a sense, that's a moot point, because the kids aren't so much interested in the prize as they'll see their girlfriend or their boyfriend start to play an instrument, and they say, that's cool. Hey, Mom, can I get a whistle? Dad, can I get a fiddle?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if she could do it, I could do it. And that part is very sweet, I think. And it's turned out thousands of kids around that little tiny country who can play music at sessions.
Yeah.
They're good enough when they're 10 years old, they can play reels as well as their elders or people 20 years.
Yeah, I'd say it's
older than them.
massively successful, this organization, Cultus.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say, so you don't think it puts too much pressure on the kids for competing, and it just puts too much stress on their lives, like, oh, you got to do it just right, we got to put all this time into this? You don't see that as much?
No, but some of the people, like in those 2 little books that I showed you, they have made that argument, and they're much more, because they've lived in Ireland all their lives. They'd be about your age, and so they've got 20 or 30 years of playing practice, and they draw the conclusion, we don't need all that competing stuff. And so what if the Cultus big festivals draw 500,000 people? You know, Ireland's this big, 500,000 people.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to put them on.
Yeah.
But they're also saying, well, it is true that there are far more people playing Irish music now than in all the centuries before.
Yeah.
Like Mick Maloney, don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he said at one point, Forrest, maybe 20 years ago, he said it before he died even. Okay, you didn't get that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He just died, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Mick Maloney said, let's say 20 years ago, that by his calculations, he being a banjo player, that there were 5,000 banjo players in Ireland at the time. 5,000. Now, I think in our southern states here, there are no 5,000 people who play 5-string banjo.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so, no.
Huh.
I think 5,000 banjo players is huge.
So in my mind, 5,000 doesn't seem a lot.
But consider that Ireland is smaller than Virginia.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
it's
So
only
it's kind of
32 counties.
It's kind of a paradox, or it's like I don't know the right word, but it seems like they had a massive success and so many people are doing it, but yet when you look at the total population, it's just a small percentage of people that play. Yeah, most other people got to listen. They're called punters, I guess.
The punters,
The punters, yeah.
So what do? Just put it on pause, or you just say
I
new
stop
sector?
it. I stop it and sort of have separate videos.
Oh.
Because it's so easy to just load in different videos. Because if they're long videos, they have more of a chance of being corrupt, and then you lose the whole thing, or something. So it's easier if you're going to lose one. I'd rather lose a 10-minute one than the whole thing, if something goes wrong. So you mentioned, this is something very exciting for me and my wife. You mentioned the annual Cultus Festival. And do you know where the festival this year is going to be held?
Yeah.
Where?
Belfast.
And do you know where I'm going to be during that time?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this by accident, or did you
no,
aim for it?
So this is the story. My wife is a photographer, and she knew somebody from way back, and their granddaughter or daughter is getting married. She met a Welshman, so they're getting married in Wales, northern Wales, Bangor. And so we're going to fly into Dublin. We're going to see some of Ireland and Northern Ireland. and then we'll go over with the ferry and then she'll do pictures for the wedding. So yeah, we're gonna be there early August, and I was just like, wait a minute, okay, music festival going on in Northern Ireland. Let me see what it is. Oh, it's an Irish music festival, and then I see it's cultist. Just been talking about that with Dave, and I'm like, duh, I have to go at least check out a day.
Oh,
So I think more than likely I will be there at least one of the days.
let me urge you to make a point to do it.
Okay.
Just they're huge phenomena.
Yeah.
They're well organized. You can see anything you want. You can see kids busking on the street
Yeah.
who are like 6 and 8 years old.
Yeah.
You can see in a pub. You'll see women who are 90 sawing away, and guys who are like your age playing away.
Yeah.
You can now cultists. I really don't believe when Cultus says, well, we had 400,000 people last year, 500,000 people in Wexford. We're shooting for 800,000 people in Belfast. I don't believe those figures. I think they're to keep the Irish government happy, so that the government will keep funding Cultus.
Oh, I see.
But they do bring in hundreds of thousands of people because they just advertise. So you should take that along with you.
Okay.
Because there are articles about Belfast and some things about where you can stay in Belfast.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Do they play mainly outside, or is it a mix of indoor venues and outside?
All.
Okay.
I think they picked. It's always in August every year.
Is it usually in Ireland or Northern Ireland?
No, it's only been in Northern Ireland once before this.
Okay.
After all these years, it was in Derry 5 or 6 years ago.
Do you think it would be strange in any way just because it's part of the UK, or do you think there's no problems with that at all?
I think one reason it took so long for them to do the Belfast venues and the Derry venues is that they wanted to make sure that the political scene was relatively stable.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they could have been attacked by British soldiers or by these orange sort of KKK goons,
Yeah.
in the 1970s or 1980s.
Right.
We can't have all these Roman Catholics coming up into our little Puritan country.
Yeah, I know. I thought about. I guess it'll be safe, but I mean, the thought of terrorism happening with all these skilled musicians, I just thought it was very, very unlikely.
I think
they would choose that venue to do something.
Well, a lot of the big names and musicians, those folks wouldn't have gone up to Belfast to do a huge cultist thing.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer danger of being knifed or shot or blown up or something.
Even like 30 years ago or so.